I don't need a chair. Some rookie shit, I'll just stand. Cooper's.
Yeah, love Cooper's good.
Gatorade is still here, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be there for a while. Maybe we can find a new color.
No, that's a good
Where
color.
would you like your chair? I'll let you.
Not too close to Max, but
Yeah, just
close enough to the microphone.
safe distance.
Okay. Oh, thanks.
I circled you.
You got 5 threes in there?
Going against Steph tonight. You guys saw him earlier this year. When you were a kid, did you ever think you'd play against him? And now that you played against him, just what went through your head tonight?
Yeah, obviously, the Warriors are a team that, I grew up watching a lot, and obviously with the dynasty they built, but it's a dream come true. I've said that a lot. This whole process for me is just a dream come true, so I'm living a dream.
Your teammate Max sitting right there had 21 points tonight, with the team high 28. What did you like so much about playing with him, and what is he doing so well that's leading to y'all's success here over the last 4 games or so?
Yeah, he's just obviously shooting the ball really well at a high level, but I think he's taking more, and that's something that we need him to do, and on a nightly basis, and be consistent with just getting a lot of attempts up. So the more threes he gets up, it's going to be good for us. So.
When you look at career high night and rebounds tonight, J.K. was in here probably last week saying he wanted you to grab a couple more. You talked about grabbing a couple more. Just how much attention did you put on that emphasis of the game?
Yeah, I think part of rebounding is obviously just putting in the effort to go and be a presence down there, but part of it is also sometimes the ball bounces your way and you get some good bounces. But yeah, Coach Kidd has talked to me about it. He wants me to be more active on the glass, and so just being aware, getting down there and helping out the bigs.
What did you like about the bounce you got that led to the put back up the second quarter?
I thought it was great. There was a great miss by Clay. I wish everybody would miss like that. But yeah, it was good.
Max, all those close losses you went through early in the season, it probably sucked to go through all that. But are you seeing some payoff now that everybody's kind of learned how to handle those situations maybe a little better?
Yeah, for sure. We just trusted the process from the very beginning, and we were up here talking about that. We'd had those close games earlier in the season, and we were all talking about just trusting the process and getting that experience. And obviously, it's paying off for us now. We're in these close games, and even towards the end there when they're trapping and they're trying to force turnovers, we looked a lot more composed. We know where we're going on the floor, and so that just comes with experience. And obviously, a little bit of failure in the beginning of the season has sort of helped us to have success now. So,
Max, one thing that Coach talked about is you've had 2 games straight of double-digit three-point attempts, and you talked about a couple weeks ago just you don't want to force it. How do you think that process has been for you? How's the process looking with you increasing your three-point volume recently?
Yeah, it's been good. I think tonight for me it's about getting uncomfortable, to be honest. And going back to previous years in my career, there are some shots that I've been taking this year that I wouldn't normally take, a couple off the dribbles and isolation and whatnot. And so it can be uncomfortable at times, but obviously that's how you get better. And so just continuing to get uncomfortable in that scenario, in that sense, and knowing that failure might come before success. I might miss a couple, but down the road, getting that experience, continuing to put myself in those positions will lead to more makes. And I think if I can get my attempts up and obviously make them at a decent clip, then that opens, my drive and opens up for my teammates as well.
I think one thing that Coach Kidd has talked about consistently, a message that he pushes, is that failure is sometimes okay if the end result is whatever that may be. And you talked a little bit about being uncomfortable. What has Coach Kidd's message been to you as he's pushing you to expand your game?
Yeah, just that. Just get uncomfortable. And like I said, once you get uncomfortable, it's probably going to be a little bit of failure, a little bit of stumbling at first, and that in itself is uncomfortable as well. But I think the mindset is just knowing that everything that happens is serving me in that sense where, things aren't going to be perfect, and, failure comes before success a lot of the time. And so for me, like you said, with three-point attempts, it can be uncomfortable at times taking some shots that maybe I wouldn't usually take. And, the most important part is not the outcome. It's more of the fact that I'm taking those shots. And, eventually the outcome will follow. But just trusting the process and continuing to get uncomfortable will lead to success.
Question for both of you. On confidence on the three ball. You've got one half of the Splash Brothers on your team. You saw the other half today. Max, you had an unconscious game against the Knicks. Cooper, you've been way more comfortable with the three ball. How are you guys building this confidence, and what is the relationship like between you two? Since you both have taken that.
I'd say again, continuing to we work on it obviously, but continuing to be uncomfortable again, like getting my attempts up. Obviously, Cooper's getting much more comfortable as well, but I think it's not going to be comfortable at first, and being around Clay, obviously playing against Steph tonight, you see them take some shots that are good shots for them because of who they are as players, and obviously I want to aspire to be at that level as well, and I know Coop wants to get more comfortable as well, and so it's just about getting uncomfortable and continuing to have confidence, though, first and foremost, and even if it may be uncomfortable, just continuing to do it anyway, and trusting that process. So we put in the work, both of us, and obviously being around Clay has been a blessing for both of us as well, but just continue to be confident in that.
Yeah, I agree.
Retweet?
Yeah, I think as well as just guys having our backs. I know I felt really good about everybody just giving me confidence, and it makes you want to shoot them when everybody's telling you you have to let them fly and not to worry about makes or misses, but just to take the right shots. So just getting that confidence from my teammates, coaches. I feel like it's the wrong play when you turn down a shot. So just letting them fly and knowing that it's the right play at the end of the day.
Now that you've had your splint off for some time, can you tell a difference of was that affecting the free ball in any way?
No, I don't know if it was affecting it or not. Obviously, it's a little different. It's gotta get used to it a little bit. Whenever you have something like that. But yeah, I think it's definitely a difference. Getting back to just having your natural hands and feeling the ball a little differently. So yeah.
Either of you can take this one. How has Najee been able to be so consistent this year?
Yeah, Najee is Mr. Consistent for us. He showed up, every single game so far, and just been the same guy. He always brings his energy and intensity on both sides of the ball. And yeah, he's just so consistent and such a vital part of our team. So yeah, he's been really key for us.
Your thoughts on Dwight, what he's brought in the starting lineup, and can either of you confirm that he's still got all his body parts?
No, yeah, Dwight's been great. His energy and his ability just to impact the game, obviously 12 rebounds tonight, 3 offensive rebounds, 0 turnovers. Like, he just does all the right things for us. And, it's always a pleasure to share the floor with him. And, I'm sure Coop and, our teammates can attest to that as well, just how he does all the little things. He sets great screens. He's obviously rolling hard. He's getting the offensive rebounds. He's finishing around the rim. He just does the things that impact winning, plus 22 tonight. And so, he's just super fun to play with, super fun to be around in the locker room as well. And so, obviously, anytime that he's out there with us is something that we look forward to.
Max, a big game against your former team. Is there any emotions that you have still around?
No. That ship has sailed. No extra emotions. It's just another game. So it's going to be fun to see old coaching staff and old teammates, but it's just another game.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, that was fun.
That was great.